Hello, this is Stainless Cable Solutions, and my name is Max. Today we're going to do a short video tutorial on how to install our second generation stainless post system. We hope you enjoy this video. Have a great day. First step, we're going to set the termination posts at the end of all runs and corners. Please follow the SRS layout included in your railing package. Make sure the termination posts that are on the corners are set correctly. The extra set of holes drilled on one side of the post should be facing the return. Now we're going to go ahead and set the termination posts, square them off to the face of the deck, mark the holes, and drill 5/16 for the lags. Then we're going to come back and hog out a 3/8 inch hole, 1 inch deep, to accept the shank of the lag. If you don't do this, you are either going to snap the heads off of the lags or crack the deck. Please follow the drill specs for the particular hardware that you're using on this project. SRS also carries 6-inch lags, and we also through bolt with stainless steel backing plates if necessary. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten all the termination posts and shim and plumb the posts from both directions. Once that's completed, we're going to go ahead and set a string line in between all the termination posts. Set the string line on the outside face of the posts. Make sure the string line's tight. Now we're going to lay out. Intermediate posts are set every 6 feet on center. Use common sense and make sure that your runs are divided equally on your particular project. This customer did not use pickets. However, we usually set these in at 3 feet on center. Now we're going to go ahead and install all the intermediate posts. Again, square the posts to the deck, plumb all the posts to the string line, shim, and lag fast tight. We find that using a little bit of soap or beeswax on these lags makes the install go a little easier. Again, stainless is notorious for galling and shearing off, so you want to make sure that we don't cause any problems by having a lag snapped off. Once all the posts are set and tight, we're going to go ahead and install the transformer tops. We're going to go ahead and drop a top in, hog the hole out 3/16. Everything is pre-drilled at the factory. This is just to ensure that we can get the pop rivets in easily. Now we're going to go to insert the pop rivets. We find that by placing both pop rivets in and then pop riveting one side, it keeps the top from cocking. The other pop rivet holds it in place as you pop rivet the other side. You want to make sure you use the correct grip range on the rivets. Our intermediate posts are 1/8 inch thick. Our termination posts are 1/4 inch thick. They require O-rings. And our pickets are 1/8 inch thick. They also require O-rings. Now we're going to go ahead and set the top rail. We're going to use 5/4 stock by 6 on this job. We're going to rip a 2-inch block off of the 5/4 by 6. We'll use the 3.5 inch for the top rail and the 2-incher for the blocking. We recommend rounding over all the edges and staining the top rail before you install. Now we're going to show you a little trick on how to hide the edges of these transformer tops and make the blocking sit tight against the bottom of the top rail. We made a little jig after we scribed the marks on where the transformer tops rested on the bottom of the rail. Now we're going to go ahead and clamp this jig to the bottom of the top rail and router an 1/8 inch channel out to accept the transformer top. Again, this will hide the edge and also ensure that the blocking is tight up against the bottom of the top rail. If you want a 42-inch rail height, you're going to have to use 2x stock or 1.5 inch thick nominal thickness for your top rail to get to a 42-inch height. So you will not be able to router the top rail, or you're going to be an 1/8 inch shy of a 42-inch rail height. In turn, we usually router out the blocking instead of the top rail if we want the rail height to be 42 inches. This really does a nice job. It hides the edge. It makes the blocking rest tight on the bottom of the top rail. Attention to detail is everything on most projects. As you can see, the transformer top fits in there nice and flush. Make sure you miter all your angles. We recommend biscuit jointing all joints to keep the top rail from flexing. All butt joints should be resting on the center of the posts. Now we're going to pre-drill and screw fast the top rail. You're going to go ahead and pre-drill with a 1/8 inch bit and then come back and screw it fast with the transformer top rail screw from the bottom. Once the top rail is complete, we're going to go ahead and set the blocking. That goes in between the posts. We're going to clamp it fast and screw it from underneath into the top rail. Now we're going to go ahead and install the cable infill. We're going to go ahead and slide the bitter end of the cable through one of our termination posts. This is the tensioning side. Going to leave about a 1/2 inch of thread hanging out the outside face. We're going to mark it 3/4 of the post on the cable. Now we're going to go ahead and cut it with the SRS rental tools. Again, this is the lock T side, so this is the return. You can see that we drilled one hole on the inside face. That's for the lock T's. The other side is for the threaded tensioning terminal. It goes through the post. We're going to go ahead and slide the lock T on, groove side first. Again, this is going to go on the inside face of the 90. We're going to put it in the 1/8 inch hole on the hand swage tool. Our first swage is going to be about an 1/8 inch from the edge. Make sure the cable is flush. Close the tool all the way. Turn it 90. Get another bite and compress the lock T. Now we're going to go ahead and bend the cable 90 degrees. Go back, release the tensioning side. Now go ahead and insert the lock T in the appropriate hole. Make sure you count the holes. We're going to reinstall the threaded tensioning terminal. Going to put a flat washer on, then the tensioning nut. And now we'll just tension the cable slightly, holding it on the back side. After all the cables are installed, we want to start tensioning from the center and work our way from top to bottom. Please follow the installation pattern on this drawing. On long runs, you'll be using the hand swage tensioning terminal. After you fish the bitter end of the cable through all your intermediate posts, you're going to look at your hardware and figure out how much reveal you want showing on the inside face of your cable. On this particular job, we're going to leave approximately 1/2 inch of cable on the outside. We're going to go hold up the marker terminal, which we'll use on all your runs, and you're going to mark the cable at the bottom of the swage. The cable slides into the hardware. Once the cable's marked, you're going to go ahead and cut it on the mark. Then we're going to reinsert the hand swage tensioning terminal till it bottoms out. We usually mark the cable just to make sure that there's no error when you tension. The terminal could possibly squirt off, or you wouldn't know that it would be all the way back at that particular mark. So we usually mark it just to ensure that everything is okay. Now we're going to move the hand swage terminal all the way to the bottom. Slide the hand swage tool so it's 1/8 inch from the bottom. And then go ahead and compress the hand swage tool on the 1/8 inch dies. Now we're going to release the hand swage tool, roll the hardware 90 degrees. Make sure you got about a 1/8 inch gap between the two swages. Then go ahead and compress the tool. We're going to do this one more time. Again, we're going to rotate the hardware, slide the tool down, make sure it's 1/8 inch away from the previous swage, then go ahead and compress the tool. Now we're going to go ahead and release the tensioning nut, insert it in the correct hole in the termination post. Going to slide a flat washer on, then the tensioning nut. In the real world, we would want to install all the cables and tension everything up completely. We're just going to give you a quick example on how to do one strand of cable. But after all the cables are tensioned completely, then we would install a double nut, a sacrificial nut. We like to tighten it down slightly to keep it from spinning off when you cut it with the stainless grinding wheel. After we cut off the excess bolt, we go ahead and come across and clean it with a bastard file. Then remove the sacrificial nut. retension any cables that might have came loose. Again, this is just an example. In the real world, everything would have been tight and nothing would have came loose. Once the cables are tightened, we're going to go ahead and cap it with a stainless steel acorn nut. Use an 11mm wrench or crescent wrench. Tighten down the acorn nut, and you're finished. We hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.